But let's say I'm a guy that wants to like, I've done well in business. I want to show that I'm doing pretty well to network and make connections. What's a good car to get into, you would say, exotic-wise?
So then I would look at Rolls again.
Okay.
Ferrari or Aston is going to be more value bang for the buck. And unless, it also depends the circle you're getting in. If you're in Miami, like driving a Huracan, you're basically a peasant. you're like it's like poverty central, you know?
Yo, yeah.
It depends on where you live, right?
There's so many Huracans here. It's like a Toyota.
I know,
they're everywhere.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you drive like an old Bentley, you're a peasant. Like you're basically driving like a fucking advanced Volvo. You know, like it doesn't matter. Like that, and people don't understand how these things work. But so they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Like a Bentley is like a very respectable car, but that's not how this works. There's levels to the game, right? Like so, if you want to be with the flash, then obviously Ferraris, Lamborghinis do better, right? But depending on the crowd you're with, a respectable, well-spec'd Rolls, Wraith, Dawn, can be bought for under the price of a Huracan.
Yes.
Let's talk about like value plays, right? Most people who are successfully okay, not like balling out of control, normal guys making $200,000-300K a year, can easily afford a Rolls-Royce Wraith or a Dawn, like a convertible. And if the spec is good and the car is clean, that will go way further for you than having a Huracan.
I agree.
Make sense? Like, and it's just not as much of a rented car either. So because of that, it's more like, oh, that's an owner, not like some guy with a bright fucking green car driving down South Beach trying to, like get pussy. So that gives you more of a, like, I have a business, I like cars, I have this respectable, beautiful car. This, just so you know, from a money standpoint, the spec of what you drive says a lot about you, because it says either I really knew my car and I'm an enthusiast and I bought this and I enjoy driving and this is why I have this, or it says basically I'm trying to show off. So there's a very big difference between I have an SVJ even, just because I bought an SVJ, to I bought this very precise, very collector grade SVJ and I'm driving it, And different people get attracted to different things. So like young people that are men are going to be attracted to whatever's flashy because that's what they've seen on Instagram.
Yeah.
And just like older people are going to be attracted to classics because they know their worth and they understand what things are, right? So depending on the crowd you want to get in, you're going to have to rethink like, how do I want to network with people? Who do I want to network with, right? And what is my purpose for driving this car?
Good point.
And if you can do that, there's plenty of cars you can get into. And with Exotic Car Hacks, the beauty of it is you're not married to a car. So, you're dating the car. You date it for like 6 months to a year. You go, this wasn't me, right? And I don't love this. Like, I'm going to buy something different or I want something sportier. I mean, the best bangs for the buck in today's economy are brand new 911 Turbo S.
Okay.
The new one, $200,000. Like amazing all around car. You can daily it. You can drive it fast. It's fucking beautiful. You can mod it if you want, and it's great.
Porsche 911. Okay.
Yeah, like amazing car. Like amazing car. Holds value well. If you buy it correctly. So like you could drive it for free forever. Same with the Wraith and the Dawn. And then another car that doesn't hold value well, but is fantastic fucking car for the money. 22 Bentley GT Speed convertible, like the new body, the newer, beautiful car, great all around the car, super respectable, super fast, just a great car. It's like those are the kind of cars that are like, hey, I only have one car in my life. I want a respectable fuck you car without like losing my ass on it. Those are the cars you'd probably like go around with and still get mad respect from both angles. Girls, guys,
everybody,
like all around the kind of like no one's gonna make fun of you and be like, dude, what the fuck? What are you trying too hard?
So Porsche 911 Turbo S, and then of course the Bentley.
The new Bentley, not the old Bentley. That's the poverty one. Yeah, we don't talk about that one.
What if I'm a beginner? I just started making like 100K.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm all right.
I always tell people like,
I like it.
If you're new to the car game, buy a fucking like super easy 2018 to 2020 R8 Cooper Spider V10.
Spider all day.
Doesn't matter. I mean, they're both fucking fine. You'll pay like 140 to 150 if you buy the right car. Don't buy the cheap shit you see on the internet for like 110 that was rented to like 19 guys.
Yeah.
Just buy the right car for 150. Don't buy cheap shit. You'll drive that car. You'll get out of it for 150. But you'll learn everything about the car game. The first thing is, no one's going to fuck with you because you have an R8, which is a cool car. And it's like the, hey, I have a nice car, but I'm not trying too hard. The other thing, too, is they don't fucking break down. So they're like the Porsches. They're like really easy fucking cars. So as you're getting new to the game and you don't want like 10 grand in expenses, 20 grand in expenses, It's like the training wheel to exotic cars. You know, it's like, hey, and also they're not too low. So as you're getting on and off driveways and shit, you don't have like, fuck, I rip my bumper apart, etc. And one of the things people don't realize is they think as soon as they have money, they have to compete, you know, with everybody else. They're like, oh, I made some money. I go quickly. These other guys have SVJs. I got to go buy an SVJ. This is what creates poverty. It's this idea of comparing yourself to people. That's what makes you really fucking poor.
Good point.
Competing with people is one thing, but competing with yourself is the number one thing. And if you can start with an R8 and ensure you know how to drive, you don't create chaos, you build a network, and you get respectable network of friends that own supercars, what's going to happen from that is you're going to evolve into your next car without having a $30,000 blown bumper on the next car, buying a lemon because you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, not knowing who's going to repair your car when shit goes bad and you spend 30 grand at a dealership. These are the small things that people are like, I want an SVJ now. Like, I'm not going to learn the game. So they're like, I'm going to go straight to the top. And these mistakes are costly, dude. Like, it's the same as wearing a nice watch. If you've never worn a nice watch and you have some money and the first watch you buy is an RM,
Yeah.
well, here are the problems. You scratches because you're not paying attention. Well, that cost is significant. Hey, you didn't pay attention. You walked in the wrong place. You got robbed because you weren't paying attention and you didn't know how to behave with a $250,000 watch
That is
on.
very true.
Right? So these little things are basically the training wheels of learning and progressing. But fucking young people always want to go to the top without learning the journey, you know? And that's the biggest reason why people just make themselves poor year and year over.
I'm going to take that to the bank. Walk slow so I can go faster than a Lamborghini.
Well, I think walk slow until you have a clear view on how to deal with something. You know, like people rush to the front of the line only to not realize the game they're about to play. You know, and then they get fucking hit. And then the hit hurts. You know, and then they go, I set myself back 10 years. So that's the problem. Like, you have to, like, don't just walk. It's okay not to be number one for a couple of years. Like, just stand back and be like, I can see what's going on. I get the game. I get where I fit in the game. Here's my inadequacies, and here's how I have to deal with them. In 3 years, I'll be number one in the game. You know, and that's the key to the game. Like, I didn't give a shit growing up if someone thought I was poor if I drove a fucking cheap R8. That was okay with me because I was poor in context to what other people had, right? And I wasn't competing with them. I was like, at my stage now, I'm at R8 stage. My next step is a Lamborghini. My next step is an Aston, whatever that is. And you gradually grow from there. But if you don't learn the game through the smaller things, the oops get expensive and they add up. And then next thing you know, you're like, well, I made $1 million this year, but oh shit, I lost 700 grand on these stupid fucking mistakes. Versus the other guy's like, well, I made the same $1 million and I start next year with $1 million in my pocket, right? And I didn't make that mistake. Yeah, I didn't have the cool fucking parties you went to, bottle service, lost all this shit, bought these SVJs. But the next year, I'm going into it with the same $1 million and I'm still going to make an extra $1 million. And now I can buy a half as good, you know, as better car. And then next year, I'll finally buy the SVJ. But here's the thing they don't pay attention to. The game is a game of retention. It's not a game of acquisition. So it's a game that when you earn success, this is something for anybody that's listening to this shit that wants to be successful in life. Success is a game of retention when you're independent. It's not a fucking game of acquisition. You don't acquire more money, you learn to retain your money because you don't know what's coming next year. So when you're in business and you're independent, you're not relying on a job or the fucking matrix, you have to think ahead. How do I guarantee I can be successful next year? Like right now, I'm planning 2027 and 2028 in my business. I'm not talking about 2025. I don't even give a shit about 25. I was planning that in 23. You know, like now that I'm in 25, we're executing. The team's executing everything I put in place.
Wow.
I'm working on what businesses, what processes need to be perfected by 27 and 28. And that's what I'm trying to put in place now so that we get good at it by 27 to guarantee that this business survives, you know, and continues to thrive instead of like, oh, we made all the money, I spent everything, and now we're fucking like figuring something out. We're scrambling, you know? So if you want to be successful in life, you have to figure out how to retain the success you've earned. If you bought an R8, you're retaining that by not going to an SVJ too fast so that you can retain that level so when you do get the SVJ, no one takes that shit away from you.